Hello again and welcome to our latest BKL Tax Chat. I'm Anthony Newgrosh and today I'm delighted to be joined by Geraint Jones, Head of Private Client Tax here at BKL and supporter of some of the world's worst cricket teams.
Hello there.
Geraint, today I'd like to talk about perhaps Britain's least favourite tax, IHT, inheritance tax. In overview, how does it work?
Well, inheritance tax in the UK is a joint gift and death tax. The reason for that is that if it didn't involve gifts as well, everyone would gift everything they owned on their deathbed and there'd be no inheritance tax take. So the UK looks back 7 years and includes gifts within the last 7 years in the assessment for inheritance tax, and then will value your assets and allow a £325,000 exemption, and then unfortunately it then taxes everything else at 40%.
So does it affect everyone? What about non-residents, for example?
Potentially it affects everyone. It depends on your domicile. If you're UK domicile, the whole of your worldwide assets are potentially liable to UK inheritance tax. If you're non-domiciled, then it's generally only UK situs assets. Now that's quite a broad definition, but it's basically things that are located in the UK. So if you're non-resident and non-domiciled, you could still be liable to UK inheritance tax if you have, say, a home in the UK or a house or a flat.
Domicile's quite a complex idea. How does domicile work, right? How's it defined for these purposes and overview?
Well, domicile isn't actually defined in the legislation and it's grown through case law, but it basically means where your home is and where your heart is. When you come to lay down your head for the final time, where do you want that to be? Now, because of people claiming non-domicile for long periods of time, there's also a deemed domicile rule, which basically says that when you've been resident in the UK for 15 or more of the previous 20 years, you'll be deemed domiciled for all UK tax purposes.
So what planning techniques are available, given we've got a 40% tax rate, to try and mitigate that?
Well, it's sometimes useful to regard inheritance tax not as a tax, but an opportunity to gift away assets at the earliest opportunity. So there's exemptions allowed for lifetime gifts. There's exemptions surrounding gifting of surplus income. And you can get on to more sophisticated things like using trusts to mitigate inheritance tax. They're particularly useful if you're not domiciled in the UK.
So when should you really start thinking about IHT planning?
Well, I think you can think about it from almost any age. But by the time you get to your mid-40s, 50s, you really ought to think about acting upon your thoughts, going to speak to somebody, because your life expectancy might only be something in your 70s. So it'd be a good idea to actually get the planning in place early, knowing full well you've got 20, 30 years still left to live.
Okay, so this isn't really deathbed planning we should be thinking about here, is it? It's something, as you say, we should be doing earlier.
Absolutely, it's an ongoing planning exercise. It's not just deathbed. Think about it from mid-40s onwards, I would say.
Okay, thanks very much, Geraint.
My pleasure.